What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing here, back with another Duet Night Abyss video. And in today's video, guys, we're going over Tabethe and her weapon. Now that we're actually able to farm it with secret letter clues, when should you guys be stopping in terms of farming both of those items? Because we want to kind of talk about how valuable the actual dupes are on either the weapon or Tabethe herself. If you guys do enjoy videos like this, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe as we're on the road to that 6,000 subscribers. We recently hit that 5,200 on the channel, guys, and I definitely do appreciate you guys. Now with that out of the way, man, let's hop in and let's actually go over the Tabethe character, and then also let's go over her weapon. Now Tabethe being added into secret letter clue shop is insane because this character actually has one of the best skills in the entire game. Now, Tabethe's specialty here commands all summon tentacles to attack once, increasing their damage dealt, and also grants self and allies a boost to skill damage, which is the most important thing right there. So as you guys can see right here, my Tabethe right here is actually providing 52% increase to skill damage boost. And yeah, I mean, that's obviously an insane amount, right? And you can pretty much give this support to any character in the entire game that is a skill damage DPS, which is pretty much most DPSs in the game, right? So with that being said, I mean, Tabethe is going to be very important to boost this skill in some type of way. Now, other than that, Tabethe's ultimate is definitely nice for crowd control, and the tentacles can deal fairly solid damage, right? Because it is going to inherit her stats and then it's going to capture them. But you can see here that the summon damage is about 266%, which is not too bad at the level 6 level. Other than that though, guys, I feel like the rest of the things are not really matter too much because it's for Tabethe's personal damage. So when dealing damage with a ranged weapon, has a chance to summon one tentacle near the target, so that's not super crazy. And then even this one right here is when summoning tentacles, Tabethe gains one stack that increases her crit chance, right? But yeah, I feel like overall these are not too important. But then if we look at the final thing, which is her combat AI, increases skill damage for self and allies, and this is a 8% multiplicative boost. So obviously only because it's 8, but it is like, you know, multiplicative after the fact, which is why it's so much stronger. So these two skills right here, guys, you have her buff skill and then her combat AI passive, is why Tabethe, in my opinion, is such a strong character, not just only for crowd control, but because of the fact she's providing the skill damage boost. Now with that being said, how much should you guys be farming Tabethe to get the most out of those bonuses? Now in my opinion, guys, the I1 is actually very good for more crowd control, increases the number of tentacles summoned through Brawl for Justice to 12, with the maximum number of tentacles that it can exist up to for the same time being 24. So more crowd control with the I1, which is actually very good. And then for the I2 right here, when tentacles deal damage, there's a 10% chance to reload one projectile for Tabethe, and this effect can only be triggered once every second. This is actually very good if you're running a weapon like let's just say, I don't know, if you're running like, well, arc light, you wouldn't really need to reload, but like, let's just say you have like a ranged weapon here that you're running as like support. So let's say you run like, I don't know, like Osteo Breaker, you're getting a little bit more skill duration, right? But she's shooting the gun. Or if you're running like, I don't know, guys, Entropic Singularity, right? Like whatever gun you're running on the character, she's gonna be able to get back a fairly good amount of ammo, as long as you're triggering or when the tentacles are dealing damage. You're just gonna get a reload a little bit, right? So it's not too bad. Definitely not like the craziest Intron, but like then we move on to Intron 3, which is gonna be boosting the skill level by 2, right? So, you know, with that being said, guys, getting this one to +2 from the Intron is going to be very strong because, again, that's going to inherently boost the skill damage boost for the allies that you're getting. So that is a must pick up, in my opinion. So the I3, I think, is a really, really good spot to kind of stop at, because if you look at the rest of the dupes here, you can see like I4 is for each tentacle on the field, increases Tabethe's crit chance, so that's her personal crit chance, and then I5 would just be the ultimate for more damage on the grouping. And then the final one right here is that it actually increases the amount of damage that the tentacles do. So yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, if I had to recommend how far you farm for Tabethe specifically, I would go I3 and then probably stop, just because of the fact that I3 is the one that's really providing the, you know, major boost to your overall effectiveness as a support, right? You're getting a lot of the skill damage boost in the buff skill right here, and so if you're able to increase that by 2 levels for free with the Intron, then I definitely do recommend that being the case, because that's just going to be a lot better. So that pretty much covers Tabethe right there, guys. Now for her weapon, for you guys that don't know, it is the Shackle of Lone Wolf. Now, her weapon is actually insanely strong because of the fact that, as you can see here, trigger probability plus 75%. When a Hydro character triggers a bonus effect with this weapon, other allies gain 33% attack for 6 seconds. So the reason why this is so insane is because not only is this really good on Tabethe herself, but there's gonna be future characters like Fushu, right? Like, I mean, you could use it on Rebecca right now, right? And this weapon would be insane on them because you can easily mod for max trigger probability just by running 2 trigger probability mods. Because if you look at the base trigger probability of this weapon, it's actually around 30% if I'm not mistaken, because you are getting 75% from the actual like effect, right? Because her, if you actually go back, she's getting 75% increase off her base. So I'm assuming her base is probably about 30, yeah, which makes a lot of sense. You get 75% of that, so it'd almost be double. But yeah, about 30% is your base crit chance, so you're now 52. When you run, you know, like a 100% trigger probability, so let's just grab like Trammel here, right? Yeah, so it's about 30, right? So you're getting another 30 on top of that, and then you run another Trammel or like the crit damage trigger probability one, and you get to 100 trigger probability, which means you can guaranteed proc this effect to give your allies the 33% attack. And guess what, guys, you can actually max smelt this thing to do double the attack effect. So if you actually were to smelt the 5 extra dupes, you're gonna get up to 66% attack for 6 seconds, which is very good. And then also your trigger probability would be a lot easier to hit, and so in that case you could actually build for maybe a little bit more crit in that scenario, right? Because you would be getting so much in terms of trigger probability just from the actual like passive effect, and it would go to 150%, which means you would save on probably like 1 trigger probability mod, which is very good. So with that being said, guys, like, yeah, Shackle Lone Wolf in my opinion is a must 5 dupe, because you're gonna be using this weapon on Tabethe, on Fushu in the future, and it's gonna be insane because of the fact that you're providing an extra attack buff for allies with this type of effect. And there's so many DPSs in the game right now that are attack scaling, like Lady Nephil's attack scaling, Lizbel, Fina technically if you run her main DPS, like Psyche's attack scaling. Truffle and Filbert is HP, but you know, that would be one of the characters you wouldn't be able to buff. But like Rebecca you can buff, Lynn you can buff, Sybil you won't be able to buff, but Veronica you can, Hellfire you won't, Outsider you can, Rhythm you can, MC, Margie, Daphne, like literally almost every character in the game, guys, will get a very big buff from that attack. And so in my opinion, this is probably one of the best weapons to just max dupe. And because now it is in the secret letter shop, you actually can just max dupe this weapon very, very easily. So you can see here, you can actually just buy it in the secret letter shop. And so I do highly advise going for dupes on this weapon, as it's going to be a really good long-term weapon for any Hydro supportive character, right? Any Hydro character that can trigger bonus effect, which this weapon, it's based on this weapon's trigger probability, you're going to easily be able to do. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to explain right there, guys, for both Tabethe and her weapon. In my opinion, just to kind of give you guys a TLDR at the end here, Tabethe, you would probably only need to go I3 because every other dupe past I is not boosting her supportive capabilities, other than maybe like I5 probably for the extra like ultimate you know, grouping and all that, because you would get the higher levels of that. But other than like, you know, that right there, guys, I think Tabethe I3 is a good place to stop at, because that's when you're getting the increased skill damage buff. Now for her weapon, if we're actually talking about the weapon here, you want to max dupe this weapon because it's providing up to 66% attack for all allies, all other allies, right? So you're going to be able to provide them with a fairly substantial attack buff when most characters in the game are attack scaling DPSs. So that's pretty much what I have to say right there, guys. Definitely make sure to max dupe your Shackle of Lone Wolf and get your Tabethe to I3. So that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know again in the comment section below, guys. Are you guys going to be farming for Tabethe and her weapon now? Definitely a good time to do it now that they are in secret letter clues. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. And I'm going to see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.